goodness gracious. It is time for another episode of The Score. It's your favorite podcast where we look at the arts and culture through our Black queer lenses. As always, I am your co-host, Rocky Jones, and I am here with my two brilliant baddie co-hosts. Well, you know. And what would we do without the amazing Paige Reynolds? Hello, Paige. How are you?
Hello. I am well.
Good.
I'm feeling the springtime. I've
Okay.
sprung into spring.
Ooh, spring
That's how I'm
fever. Come
feeling.
on, spring
Yeah.
fever.
I'm back in the gym again, trying to get
Oh,
like
good for
Rocky.
you.
Yes,
Okay.
The
Okay.
biceps, they're growing. They're getting
Okay.
there.
Okay. Come on, biceps.
Yeah.
Yes. Biceps, triceps, quadriceps, all the
Oh yeah.
steps.
Oh, my quads hurt like a bitch right now. My quads
Oh,
hurt like a bitch. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Yeah.
I did something to my knee last week. I've been walking around like a 50,000-year-old
Ooh.
man. It's
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah. I
it's a
gotta grunt
problem.
every
It's a
time I sit
problem.
down. That's what it's
Oh
like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I get up. Like Uncle Joe. And that wonderful, infectious laugh. What would we do without Dr. Lee Bynum? Hello, Dr. Lee Bynum. How are you?
Hello, Thailand. I am doing just fine.
Ooh, okay. Come on,
Hmm.
Bangkok. Come on, Phuket. Come on, Pangina Hills.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is going on in your neck of the woods, Dr. Bynum?
Oh, we're just over here in New York enjoying our functional city government
Oh
for the
my
first
God.
time in many years. I am living for it.
I am
Yes, we're
so
back.
jealous.
You should be, because I know who your mayor is and I know who mine is.
Well, okay. I know who Paige's
I was
mayor
gonna
is.
say Rocky's mayor is all right. We have the boy mayor,
Yeah, no,
unfortunately.
touche,
With
touche.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Our city council is all women under the age of 40, and our mayor's last name is literally her. So, so we're good for the time being. Paige, y'all, enjoy your Cop City.
they're literally hosting a performative mayor contest for mutual aid in a few weeks. Yep. Do your best Jacob Fry impression. Yep. Yep.
Actually,
That's how it's going over here.
pretty
Send me a
interesting.
postcard from Mom Danistan, please.
Yes. And y'all's, I'm so sorry, but I know we're getting into local politics here, but y'all city council is trash. Um,
I was literally sitting with friends last night, just rewatching some of the footage and all of us sighing. The way we all became deeply tired and we're like, okay, we're exhausted now. Let's go home. That just took it out of me. We're like, yeah, we have bigger fish to fry. We have much bigger things going on. Y'all are arguing about the most ridiculous shit. My city council member is quite unfortunate. Michael Rainville, I'm talking about you.
mm.
What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? This is not what we pay you for. We do not pay you to create an episode of a VH1 reality show. Sorry, I
Yeah.
just had to get
No,
that
you're
out.
fine.
Like,
You're fine. You're fine.
we're-
You're fine. Yeah.
pray for us.
It's shocking after, everything that happened at the beginning of the year, Operation Metro Surge. Go back and listen to that episode if you did not, and you can hear what was happening in real time on the ground here in the Twin Cities. But after all of that, for these folks to turn around and turn their back on their citizenry in such a shocking and decisive way. All of these people who just suffered, watched members of their community be shot in the face in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 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 no. No, we're not doing an eviction moratorium. We are going to build a $40 million complex so that cops can do their yoga.
Because the cops need healing.
They need
Though. The cops are
healing. What, are they
traumatized.
supposed to downward dog on the sidewalk? Like, girl, I no. I can't with y'all, and I cannot with Jacob Fry.
No. Mm-mm. I'm just like, we need to remember this is local politics. We know where these people live, and I think we're not bullying them hard enough.
Mhm.
We're really not. We're really not. We could step up the bullying. The performative mayor contest, that's a great start.
Yes. Yes.
Let's start showing up on people's lawns.
But
Deadass.
but Zoran, what a like, I'm not usually here standing for politicians, but my God, what a what an effective communicator! What a just, I mean, just everything. That tweet that like went around a couple of months ago that was like, like, how do we stop the orphan killing machine? Nobody can figure it out. Zoran, oh, I just went underneath and it was just a switch that I just had to toggle to don't kill the orphans. Like, it was just that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for
Yeah.
y'all.
Well, we did have to go through just a little bit to get here. So
Just
It's
a little.
just
Just a little.
bit.
Just a
Yeah.
little.
yeah. Yeah.
I
Joy
wonder.
cometh in the morning.
I do wonder though, like, really, like, what is Eric Adams thinking right now as he's watching things actually work, things actually moving forward?
I mean, maybe he's not watching because he's in his actual home outside of New York City. Maybe he has no idea what's happening over here.
Probably.
Maybe he's somewhere being the party boy socialite that he clearly
Ex-
actually wanted to
He's in Dubai, wishing he wasn't in
Right, exactly.
Dubai. I made a
be.
mistake coming to Dubai. Oh, Lordy. Well, speaking of which, how are we all faring watching the greatest shit show on earth go down? Are y'all okay psychically?
No.
Yeah.
No,
No, who
not
is, right?
really.
It's very scary to
It's very
see
scary.
what feels like literal war games and
Yeah.
no real I mean, like, how how did we get to a place where there were like absolutely no plans for what this was supposed to be, no research done on, I don't know, maybe how Iran is different than whatever they might have thought this was going to be. This, I mean, I don't know if they thought this would be like Venezuela part two or like I don't know what the thought process was, but just even beyond the politics of agree or not agree, it's the fact that like let's go bomb another country in the most volatile part of the world and have absolutely no plan, even for where the weapons are going to come from 2 weeks into it. Like I do not understand. Like I make a plan if I'm going to the supermarket. Like how is this not a thing to kind of think through any of it? It's absolutely terrifying. And I'll tell you the thing that really got me was when he was with that Japanese minister and made that crazy throwaway joke about
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, right? I'm like, you have,
Whoa.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, no sense of a atomic war being uh, like maybe no sense of what it is like this
No,
is not a
no.
thing to joke about
Mm-mm.
from the person who presumably has access to the codes. I mean, hopefully, hopefully this is where JD's true machinations are coming in and he has changed them codes and hidden them under the couch, like something, right? Because this is absolutely terrifying how casual the approach is. I was watching some press conference yesterday and he and Hegseth were making jokes about how much fun they're having. And I'm like, it's not even about this being sick and twisted anymore. Like, shouldn't isn't there a person or body of people that are supposed to swoop in and be like, Grandpa, I need the keys? Like can't there be that group of people?
The Skull and Bones Illuminati, where you at?
Yeah, that no, that would
Well,
be that would be
that would be
great.
great.
I mean, it would be,
Somebody intervene. Somebody.
or maybe his wife, right? Like if one of your partners were out there doing all of that, wouldn't a point come where you would just like pull them to the side and be like, "You're embarrassing me." Can you not? Like
No.
something,
Oh,
right?
she's too busy, starring in the biggest movie ever in the history of the universe. So, so she's a movie star. She doesn't have time for that.
I could just never understand the point where, yeah, dropping nuclear bombs and stuff is just a game to people. It's playing Battleship. It's playing an Xbox, like, and not people's lives. And it also has me thinking, shout out to my history teachers who actually talked about how terrible, how awful, like, any of these like large bombings, attacks, especially on um uh Japan, and like
Mhm.
the aftermath that is still aftermathing, that is still that is still very present. Shout out to Miss Bosque. Shout out to Mr. B. Shout out to y'all who made sure we knew, because there's clearly been a lot of children left behind who
Mhm.
thought that it was just a game,
Mhm.
just something that happened on the other side of the world and a quick blip in history, and we've moved on because that was decades ago. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I just don't, and especially the point of getting to the point of being a politician. You think that they would know the most about. I mean, that's what you would think. That's what you would think. That's what you would think. But
That no, it's no.
none of this makes sense. I need to just let go of the idea that this is supposed to make sense. It's not going to make sense.
It's not gonna make sense. No, no. We have a plumber with
I gotta let go.
with an
Yep.
associate's degree and no prior experience with national security whatsoever as our new Homeland Security Secretary. Not to say that there's anything wrong with being a plumber, just to be
Mm-mm.
clear.
No, yeah, nobody's
but
saying that.
but if you are a plumber with national security experience,
Yeah.
absolutely throw your hat in the ring. If you are not, however,
Yeah.
perhaps think about something else.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your
Stay
lane.
in your
Stay in
lane.
your lane. Stay in your
Yeah.
lane.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it. And I think at this point, I'm trying not to fall into too much apathy, because with all of the things going on around us, I ultimately come back to, we've been telling y'all.
Yeah.
We've been telling y'all for every single thing. We've been telling y'all for centuries now. We've been telling y'all, hey, maybe don't drop a bunch of bombs. I mean, for one, it's just inhumane and cruel. It's going to have lasting effects on the environment. It's bad for the environment of the entire planet. We've been telling y'all, hey, maybe don't elect psychopaths. That's maybe just don't do that. Just saying. We've been saying that, hey, putting people in cages is pretty bad, and you're also, saying that you're trying to protect us from criminals while creating the conditions for criminals to thrive and take advantage of people in cages and to actually just grow the problem of human trafficking. We've been saying all of these things. We've been saying, hey, maybe if you take away rights and like healthcare for like one group of people, it makes it a lot easier to take it away for a whole bunch of people. So maybe you don't even want to go down that road. Like, I'm just getting tired of the whole we told you so of it all.
And it's just like when you are electing leaders who are doing all of these things, do you now see how you are personally complicit
Mhm.
in all of this? That you are responsible for all of this, that you are just as racist, you are just as Islamophobic, you are just as all the phobics and the isms as the people you just what 2 days ago we just found out that like he Hegseth blocked the promotion of two women and two black officers because Trump didn't want to be standing next to a black woman. Explicitly said he did not want to be standing next to a black woman on TV at these
Wow.
ceremonies. And you
Wow.
still are questioning whether this man is racist, even though his racism has been well documented ever since he entered public life in the 1970s. But but all of those things over the last 50 years, those were not deal breakers for you.
But he said he was going to drain the swamp.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Drain it right into the Capitol building.
Drain it right into his diaper. Like it drives me nuts. It really drives me crazy. And it makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very scary to me because now that we are in a place where they're even able to reflect how many MAGA voters are very dissatisfied with what's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't a reason for the current administration to reverse course on anything. Like, and I think that really reflects the dangers of people voting without understanding, without taking the time to educate themselves around what they're voting for and who they're voting for. And also just the overall setup of our government, where we can be in this space now where they feel like they can inoculate themselves from any and all criticism, including from their own base. Like the fact that this Iran war, and with the talk of a draft of all things, is as unpopular as it is with people who were one-time supporters under any other, I don't know, configuration of reality. Like that would have been a pump your brakes moment. And they're not. They're not. They're doubling down. And
Well,
it's
yeah. I mean, because the supporters were just a means to an end. They didn't actually
That's it.
care,
oh,
and
absolutely.
that's what we kept telling them.
Yeah.
Like you were being
Yeah.
played, you were being manipulated, and now it's like what? They lied. You mean that Donald Trump doesn't care about my $30,000 a year making ads? Like, no, he doesn't. He
Mm-mm.
absolutely not. No,
At all.
these were all lies
Yep.
from the beginning.
Yep.
And now you get it. Now you get it. You just hated black people that much that you just had to. Okay. Good. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Which ain't nothing new,
At
you
all.
know,
Ain't nothing new under the sun.
at all, especially not this.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
The good things that people will trick themselves out of just because they hate Black people so
Yeah.
much.
My God.
Well, speaking of hating Black people,
Oh.
good segue to our topic for today.
What a transition.
So we watched at Paige's suggestion a video on YouTube that has gotten very, very popular over the last couple of weeks, like kind of shockingly popular, by a creator named is it DG Signifier?
FD.
FD Signifier. Why do FD Signifier. Why do I keep wanting I wanted to call him DL Signifier, but then I was like, no, that's Tyler Perry. So he made a 4 hour, I mean, let's just call it what it is, documentary all about Tyler Perry. And I know that we have talked about Tyler Perry on the show in the past, but I found this video so fascinating. I highly recommend everyone go and watch it. Because at first I was like, do I really want to watch like 4 hours about Tyler Perry of all things? Like, is that how I want to spend 4 hours of my life that I'll never get back? The answer, it turns out, is yes.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Because it was fascinating. It went through his whole life, his psyche, the trauma, his business dealings, his movies, his television shows, the messages, the politics of it all. And it even got into some things that I had never really sort of considered or thought about, some things that I definitely have. There were some things that I felt like he could have gone a little bit more into, some arguments that were a little bit flimsier than I would have liked. And I do feel like, some special attention, more attention could have been paid to Temptation, because I literally think that
Hmm.
that movie
Yeah.
is evil.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Straight
think
from
that
hell.
I think that there are pieces of art, Triumph of the Will, Atlas Shrugged, Temptation, right up there with evil pieces of art. But but yeah, I thought it was fascinating. So we could just have a little conversation, revisit some of our thoughts and feelings about Mr. Tyler Perry today. So
Yes.
so we'll be right back with that conversation. All right, we are back. Tyler Perry.
Ooh.
Tyler, Tyler, Tyler.
Tyler, Tyler, Tyler.
Tyler. What are we gonna do with Tyler?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Where to start,
I
right? I
I
mean,
give
maybe a
you
good place to
the
start.
floor.
I'll at least say that I was in grad school in the late aughts, in a master's program where most people were training to be cultural critics of the Black experience. And we were being taught by people like Sadia Hartman and Farrah Griffin and Mignon Moore. So I feel like a lot of my lens through which I try to understand Tyler Perry comes through that kind of seminal moment, and also really trying to balance as a person who is a creator and who really thinks of themselves as writing for a specific subset of an audience. It's been really important for me to want to understand why people why Tyler's work is so resonant with so many people,
Mhm.
and to do so without judgments or assumptions around my personal taste needing being able to make sense of other people's, right? Because I certainly feel like a lot of what I watch, there are other people who, including the person I'm married to, are like, I don't understand how anybody could watch that, right?
Yes,
So I try
precisely.
to sit with that a little bit, and I did feel like when I was in grad school, and it was at the Institute for Research in African American Studies at Columbia University. In the main, all of our faculty was Black, and we were all Black. So I don't think that a lot of the critiques were coming from a place of anti-Blackness. I really do feel like, you know, a lot of us were just trying to place something while at the same time understanding that the same forces around respectability politics and like how the Black church has shaped minds, we were like deprogramming ourselves
Mm-hmm.
in a moment. But I have never been one of those people who has felt like Tyler Perry's oeuvre was entirely negative, right? And in trying to understand him, I watched, like, there was a box set on eBay of like 10 quote stage plays by Tyler Perry. I never understand the term stage plays. I'm like, the plays always are on stage. Um,
I
so
mean, I
like
guess opposed to like a teleplay,
yes, maybe,
maybe. I don't know.
but yeah, no. So like I bought this box set for like $10 on eBay and watched all of them. And like over the course of, you know, that 2 years in the program, I watched whatever Tyler Perry movies came out, like in those couple of years. Um, and then didn't really watch a ton of them after that until a couple of years ago when I actually wanted to put myself through the experience of like trying to learn him again because I want to know where my critique is from. And I've done this with other filmmakers where like I feel like there's an inclination inside of me. I'm like, I don't think I like Woody Allen movies. So let me watch a bunch of them so I can confirm whether I do or I don't, or I can be articulate about what I don't like or do like. And I feel like the one thing that was really missing from, you know, FD Signifier's analysis, I didn't hear him one point talk about satire. And it's, to me, there is a very real satire that happens with Medea that I actually feel like audiences hold very clearly. And where I think this is important is I don't think that there is an unexamined critique of Medea happening for a lot of people. I don't think people are just sort of consuming at least the Medea portion without holding what is absolutely ridiculous about her value system and her behavior and still trying to balance that with an appropriately reverential version of a lot of our grandmother, big mama, aunties, church elders that we simultaneously know you have held the Black community on your shoulders, and there is a lot about your way of dealing with any number of things that we all find really problematic post Gen Xers, right? Like I think there's a part of that that does have to be inserted into the conversation because I think that carries a lot more of the balance of why it's important to represent a certain aspect of the Black community in a more fulsome way than I think happens in other places. And that to me is the thing that Tyler Perry has done really, really effectively. I grew up in the Black church in the South. There is so much that is familiar and that he's willing to present as problematic to his audiences without tossing the baby out with the bathwater. And I think there is a lot of why you hold this. And my question with watching Tyler Perry, and I will say I am not the target demo for it, but you know, trying to think about why does your mama like this kind of a thing. And I think that there is a way that there's a type of representation that's held that is worth not losing yourself in a critique, much in the same way for me Noah's Ark is an important show. I don't want to lose what I think is problematic about it, and I have no
Mhm.
problems offering a critique of it. But at the same time, it's important because it was making an effort to tell a story that I am centered in this story and I am not centered in kind of any other story anywhere. And I can let both things be true at the same time, right? And I think that maybe a part of a message that I've been trying to figure out with my peers and my friends, like I think there's something that you're not seeing about this that other people are seeing and can hold on to. And yeah, most of there kind of is no cinematic craft in Tyler Perry. Like that is not the kind of filmmaker, he's a storyteller, right? And he's not even a little bit trying to do that. And I think I I I don't know. I wish a little bit more of that could have been unpacked, because I felt like the very hard edges of the critique from FD were not holding, that Tyler Perry's audience can see that this isn't like good filmmaking. Like, nobody is like, I've never heard somebody be like, Tyler Perry should be better represented at the Oscars. Like, that's not an argument anybody's ever going to say, right? But in I don't know, I'm being able to note there's a bunch of stuff in those movies that isn't talked about elsewhere. There are not any too many other places where I feel like abuse that people experience in that part of the community, in their families, in their churches, in other entirely Black spaces. These are things that aren't rising up in other places, right? So I don't know. I don't want to discount that, even at the same time, and really pushing back on other kinds of representation that I feel like have been hot garbage in his movies. Like, I just, we need to be able to do both when we talk about this. And I think for me, there was a little bit of that when he would touch on that. It literally felt like as an aside, like something he went back and filmed and then added in to, like, in an attempt to sort of smooth out some of the edges of the critique. But I don't know. Like, I wish he had spent more time thinking about the audience and thinking more of the audience was coming from his position. Yeah.
Mm. I mean, I think from the I completely agree. I also think that, like, one of the things I really appreciated about the video, though, was, I think, hmm, maybe he didn't return to it enough, but that I feel like at the beginning, FD Signifier kind of established, like, who is this audience that is watching Tyler Perry, and more specifically been there since the beginning.
Mhm.
You know, like, it was very, I think it was very, very thorough in that, because folks who I often find that folks who maybe caught on to Tyler Perry at the point where his films and TV shows started getting popular don't have some of the context of just, like, what was going on at the time that Tyler Perry's stage plays became a thing. And even further, like, where did Tyler himself come from?
Mhm.
You know, like, keeping in mind, like, he is a man of a certain age, of a place, of a, like, and all of that matters. So I appreciate the thoroughness, because you're right that, like, there is not a whole lot of other media that is focusing on a person like Tyler Perry, or the folks who love his work the most. And I think that's part of the, like, the point he was trying to make, is that point he was trying to make, and I think maybe should have returned to, is that there hmm there is a way that his audience was, like, not being served otherwise. Or not just his audience, but I would say there's a type of Black experience that wasn't being portrayed otherwise. Especially, like, yeah, you have Black television shows, but they weren't depicting as much Black working class life. I love that he brought that up specifically. Like, this is Black working class relatable, especially if you are from the South, or you are descended from people who are from the South. If you a Detroiter like me, or Chicagoan who are just Mississippians and coats. Um, like you don't get a whole lot of that, and you especially weren't at the time when like the main shows are what shows like
Girlfriends.
Girlfriends, uh, 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 you had the whole like UPN universe of black
Like being Mary
shows.
Jane.
The Game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just have that era that didn't feel like untrue to the black experience, but there are other parts being left out. And then of course you have like, your uh more autobiographical kind of movies that are always, going to be popular. Um and so I don't know, there just wasn't a whole lot of, especially if you were black and churchy, like that was not in the mainstream. That was not in the mainstream. Sometimes it would be literally be after church at my grandma's house, sitting around with my aunties and cousins and mama and sister watching watching Tyler Perry after we've had Sunday dinner while we're eating together. Like there wasn't there wasn't a whole lot that was filling that gap. And so I appreciated that he can just like fill that out for some people and have that understanding, because as much as we can critique Tyler Perry, there is also a like culture and set of values that he's reflecting, and that's always been clear to me, again, as somebody who has spent time with the target audience, you know. Unfortunately, as much as, for example, the temptation is terrible, my god,
Terrible.
terrible.
I
You're absolutely right. An evil film, an
evil.
evil sent straight from hell. And at the same time, there are people who watch it and think it's good and think it does reflect their values. Like somebody is watching
Absolutely.
that. Somebody is watching the films where he is just absolutely putting black women through it. And unfortunately, they're like, yeah, but she agreed. She deserved that because she did X, Y, and Z, or because she was on drugs, or because she,
Mhm.
there are people who think like that. And so I think he did a good job of, kind of looking at Tyler Perry's like work and career and like personal life through all those lenses. Uh Definitely got into the capitalism, which I
Mm-hmm.
appreciated.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
How even um his his achievements and the way people hold those up over some of the negative impacts, that also reflects a cultural thing of how we value progress under capitalism. That's not just him. Unfortunately, there are lots of people who are willing to overlook the terribleness, because it's like, look at this black man who is millionaire, billionaire. Is he a billionaire at this
Billionaire.
point?
Billionaire.
Like
Billionaire.
$1.5 billion,
Yeah.
a lot
Mm-hmm.
of money.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So because he has made those achievements, a lot of the culture is willing to overlook other stuff, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but look at all the good, look at all the, as if just making a ton of money is automatically
Yeah.
good
And
on
look at what Usher
its
just said about
own.
Diddy last
Right.
week.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
well,
Yeah,
Usher Raymond the
absolutely.
Fourth.
yeah. And I think it just drives home the point that just like, yeah, we can have people like Tyler Perry who we think are terrible, but there's a culture that creates these people and
Mm-hmm.
creates their success also. Um, yeah, that was one of my biggest takeaways.
And that's
Def-
actually the thing that I found really sort of the most fascinating about it, and what
mm,
I found myself thinking about last night when I was done watching it and I was getting ready for bed, was just like the man that he is and the boy that he was, and sort of the culture that sort of turned him from that boy into that man, and the way he just is still that little boy hiding under the porch of his house,
Mm-hmm.
suffering through all of that abuse and that trauma, and the way that like he has just sort of stopped kind of, I mean, I don't want to say like, he's sort of emotionally regressed or whatever, but it's like there's still that little unhealed portion of him that is driving all of this,
Mm-hmm.
that is driving that need for complete and absolute control and power. And the image, just simply the images that he's just sort of putting on screen. Like, I I was thinking about way, way, way back in the day. I saw R. Kelly live in concert before we knew. I know. But that experience, there was one part of the show where it's like, you know, all these like ladies come out and they're wearing like the thigh high boots and the little panties and like bustiers and whatnot. And, he's grinding all up on them. And then the next part of the show, like the set clears and they bring out this like cartoonishly large conductor stand. And it's just him in a white tuxedo, just manically sort of conducting to this like classical music piece. I don't remember what it was. And it was just like, oh, and I remember thinking at the time, like, and it was not like a, like a remix to like Bum Grind or anything like that. It was it was not like, the classical remix of Ignition or anything like that. It was just him like and I in that moment I could just picture the 13-year-old boy being like, okay, and then we're gonna have like all these girls, and they're gonna come out, and they're gonna be in like panties, and they're gonna like want me, but then like I want like them to like know that like it's all about the music. So then we're gonna bring out like a conductor stand, and I'm just gonna conduct, and I just feel like so much of that is so present in like Tyler Perry's work, like just sort of this like he kept saying like FD kept saying like small C conservative, um, but
Mm.
also like this very sort of like like when he was talking about the way that men's bodies are portrayed, like the
Yes.
men are always like these like ridiculously roided out like six pack glistening abs, and like does that mean that he's secretly gay? Maybe, but I think it's also sort of like a kid's version of like what an ideal man looks like,
Yes.
like a young boy thinking about like, when I'm a man, I'm gonna be big and strong, and I'm gonna have the biggest biceps in the whole world, and all the girls are gonna want to lick my six pack. Da, da, da. Like it all feels very sort of regressive and kind of childish in this way. Um, and I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, but like Tyler Perry has always been sort of a bit of a sort of cultural hole for me, because I think when Tyler Perry blew up, I was sort of in the Columbia Film Department, and I'm thinking like I'm an auteur. And I watched like one or two of his movies, and I kind of, it's entertaining enough, but it was just sort of like I get it, and I just kind of like put it on the back burner until like, certain things like Temptation came into like, oh my God, watch this. You're gonna scream for the next hour. um but it really just sort of reminded me of like the way that like, trauma really informs so much
Mm-hmm.
of his work. And not that I feel like sorry for him or bad, like, part of our responsibility as adults is to like heal, get some therapy. So that we're not inflicting that trauma on everyone else, but like this idea that like, so much of his work is about not taking accountability, that, you know, so many of the characters in his movies are victims, but they're being told to just sort of get over it, and to see like that sort of made manifest in his films, it's actually quite troubling and sad when you really sort of sit down and examine it in this way. And I think that was the thing that struck me. Like I walked away from this experience, like like kind of like I don't really like Tyler Perry. He kind of sucks, but also just like this is just terribly sad. And to
Yeah.
think about like how many people in our community are sort of absorbing these messages and taking on that trauma and that sadness and inflicting it on the people in their lives. Um, Even though these movies are supposed to be sort of like, feel good or messages or funny or like whatever, it's just, yee, yee.
Let me ask you about what you're saying now, because I feel like I interpret them differently. I feel like part of why they're popular is because they're reflecting something that people are already going through,
Hmm.
right? As opposed to maybe influencing how they're thinking about it.
Well, I think it's a bit of both, right?
Um, I don't. Hmm, I kind of I kind of think no.
Okay.
I personally think no, right? I feel like these movies communicate, like specifically the Tyler Perry serious movies,
Okay.
and maybe
I guess
some of
I'm
the
thinking
Medea's.
more of like the more comedic ones and not the.
I feel like they're doing a big mirror
Mhm.
kind of a thing where people feel like they can locate themselves in this universe, in this storytelling, and it's not maybe so much as filling, at this point, all of it is not necessarily filling the gap in the same way that it would have been like in 2008,
Mhm.
but maybe just kind of reflecting more of, I am this older Black woman who is dealing with this set of issues in my family, or I am, this younger Black woman who is sort of, who can make sense of this particular storytelling vis-a-vis romance based on what I'm finding out there myself. Like
Mhm.
that's a little bit more of how I've heard people talk about these movies as being profoundly relatable,
Okay.
which is the thing that I think complicates my own relationship with it, because I think, can we reflect and push at the same time? And I actually feel like that isn't what generally is happening kind of anywhere. Like I don't
Mhm.
I wonder about the genre, how much the Hollywood genre is meant to push as much as it's meant to reflect. Like and I don't know the answer, which is, I know this didn't sound like a question, but this is kind of like the question I feel like I have about it. Like if I read James Baldwin, and just a little sidebar, when FD was starting and he was kind of talking about, in school I wanted to see more the Goofy movie and more Lion King than so much Go Tell It on the Mountain and Color Purple.
Mhm.
Boy, did that trip me up. But and not that, the Lion King has been very good to our household. Like again, no Lion King slander ever at our house. Like I really, really appreciate that. But I actually do want, if I had a kid, I don't want you watching the Goofy movie. I do
Mhm.
want you talking about Go Tell It on the Mountain. I feel like the thing that Baldwin and Walker and so many other people do so well is like they can reflect and push you at the same time in
Mhm.
a way that I feel like movies seldom do that for me. And I guess I'm just wondering if we are asking for the thing itself to do something it's not especially great about doing. I don't know what the answer to that is, but like that critique of Tyler Perry is one of the ones that I feel like my very smartest friends consistently make, but also have a really hard time giving me examples of like other places where it is doing that. And maybe we just need more Black stories being told so that there are better examples of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe that's the thing. Maybe I am being a bit idealistic because I do think that there is a world in which the medium can do that. And I wish perhaps there was a bit more of that. And I wish that there was somebody who could be in Tyler Perry's position who could do a little bit more of that. But maybe you're
Right.
right.
I mean, I don't know, but I feel like his position is what sort of disabuses me of the idea that you
Hmm.
do have this Black man who seemingly has nobody above him or at his level saying, no, don't do this. So why can't your movies do this particular ideological thing? And the answer may be, this is your ideologies aren't mine, Lee Bynum. I don't need my movies to do this. But it also might be a thing are people going to the movies for movies to do that? And I don't know. But this is where I always
Yeah.
get trapped,
Yeah.
right? I'm stuck here with Spike Lee, where I appreciate that he can have such a sharp critique about colorism in the Black community, while at the same time fetishizing every lighter complexion actress who existed between like
Hmm.
1988 and 2005, right? Like
Hmm.
it is these internal contradictions that I feel like constantly draw us back in because it's just spitting back to us like the values of our community. And I don't know that like artistic machines can always do something different than that. I,
Yeah.
I, I don't know if my art does
No.
that either, and not trying to equate myself with Spike Lee, but we both are named Lee. Like I don't know that I'm doing that either, right? Like I don't know what the answer to that question is. I feel like that is just the tension.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me, part of it is that I don't need Tyler Perry to try to teach us something or even push or like reflect my ideologies, but to me it's so clear that the characters and stories are lacking complexity and that they just reaffirm his view of the world. Like you can
Yes.
tell that like there is a story, a narrative that he has about Black women that traces back to him being mad at his mama for her abuse, and he's just going to tell that story over and over and over in different ways, and it's not going to get any more complex than that. And because he's just writing in the echo chamber with just himself, nobody is going to make that narrative more complex for him.
Thank you. That's
Like,
exactly. And
so
I
that's
feel,
what it is. I
yes.
don't need him to push, but I'm just like, can we just dig just
Just a little
a little deeper, just a
deeper.
little.
Just a little deeper. Because I think also like telling that story in the same way over and over and over again without like any sort of nuance or change like actually does harm in the end.
Hmm.
Like like not only are we not pushing, but like we might be like regressing a little bit. And it
Yeah, because then people who watch it are also having even people who agree with it or see their ideas being reflected. It's also like maybe reflecting some of the most toxic narratives that we have about ourselves or like reaffirming stereotypes. Like I think especially it's the stuff around like abuse and also addiction that bothers me, that just like reflecting that like all those people can do is bad, and like I don't know, it's just like to me it's like reaffirming some of the most like shaming
Mhm.
parts, if people are looking for something that reflects all the ways they feel bad about themselves, or about maybe the ways that they're not living up to a certain idea of what a Black man or Black woman or Black family should be. Like they're gonna find that in these movies. They're gonna find something that reaffirms that stereotype, or that way of, oh, you didn't pray hard enough and stick by God hard enough, and that's why that terrible thing happened to you. And they're gonna find that in the Tyler Perry movie of just like, yep, me too. And that's why I fucked up my life too. And like, there's just no, there's no grace and no like complexity. And yeah, that's why I returned to the church too, which is again, it's like true for people, but like, I would love for us to have more complex
Mhm.
portrayals of
Mhm.
ourselves.
Mhm.
But again, it's just is that it's so tough when again he's reflecting a culture that's an ideology that is widespread. So I think maybe I'm just coming back to the same point on the circle that you did, Lee, because
Yeah.
And
damn
that's
it.
and that's what's so crazy about it. It feels
Right.
it feels like we're on this hamster wheel. And it makes me feel crazy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, look, and I find myself on this hamster wheel with a lot of things, because this is also how I feel about a lot of popular music. And it's
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, well, I guess the fuck you're not happy, right? Like just kind of like if these are the messages that you are inviting into your head, but also the reason that certain kind of music, certain messages in music, I feel like are so incredibly resonant, speak to the broader dysfunction that we all are trying to process, right? I guess this is, and I don't mean this to be an apologia for, you know, Tyler's work. It's to me, it's just literally the question of like, why does it manage to draw so many people and people coming back in? And it can't be pure pathology. Like I feel like there's also a layer of something else to it. And maybe it's, you know, because of how much popularity I understand these movies to have with like the elders in my family. So
Mhm.
like there's a way that like I know you're not a bad person. I know that you do not have this flat a perspective on race and gender. Like I know that because I exist and I have made it to this age because of you. And at the same time, you are seemingly unproblematically watching this. And I don't see you processing in the same way that I'm processing. I don't see you put off by the same things that I'm put off by. And to me, it like there's a need to look for a longer arc to what is a particular generation sometimes responding to. Um, and there's a thing that when I was growing up, both of my parents would reflect, and like watching black movies or black TV shows with my parents was a huge part of our bonding. It was a huge part of our bonding. We watch stuff and we talk about it. They would encourage and facilitate me seeing certain kinds of things. And you know, I am better for having watched all of Roots as an elementary school student on its re-airing in the early 90s because that was a sort of nuanced and detailed portrayal of something that I wasn't going to be able to get from other places at that age. So when I've always thought about like, are you, my parents and other people your age, more comfortable with watching images of black suffering than I am? It literally took me 12 years to get through 12
Mm.
years a slave, right?
Mhm.
What is that about? I remember my dad talking about the amount of disdain he had for Jimmy Walker as a black man who was a teenager in the 70s and feeling like there were all of these incredibly buffoonish images of black people that fit into this narrative of the happy Negro on
Mhm.
TV and in film. And why The Color Purple was a movie my dad liked is because it felt like they're telling a story with real heft here. Like these are, we have problems as a
Mm.
community. We are talking about them in this movie, right? Like there was that kind of narrative that, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a really long time to appreciate the film version of A Color Purple. Like I feel like it is such a hard watch outside of like a couple of my favorite scenes.
Mhm.
But I grew up in a different universe, right? And it just kind of makes me think about some of the pieces of Tyler Perry that I find so off-putting. There may be a different thing that is being processed by other parts of the audience. that aren't quite the same hamster wheel that might actually be something different. But I have never been able to like get into the center of it to understand because to me it does just feel like this really blunt kind of a thing that's like I get it. Light skinned men good, dark skinned men bad. Like I get it. I believe you when you say it. Okay, okay, okay. Right? Like that's what my takeaway is, but I don't I really think there's something else for some other people or that some of these things aren't landing. I don't get temptation. Like and I really do feel like that's part of the American filmography that we need to leave it right where it is, and alongside Birth of a Nation, like people don't need to keep watching
Was
it,
just gonna
right?
say that.
It's trapped in a closet.
Yeah.
Tyler,
And
Tyler Perry's version. Like
and
it's
that is also how I feel about like Why Did I Get Married? I didn't make it to Why Did
Mhm.
I Get Married too, but I watched that and I was like, this is some bullshit. I
Mhm.
don't know what y'all are seeing, but a whole lot of people saw something I didn't see. Um, and I don't I feel this compulsion to understand what it is. And I don't know where that comes from. I do suspect that makes me good at my job, but I don't know where that comes from. And I guess I don't want to, sit here and like a- apologize for haphazard characterization, but I also don't want to do what I feel like the FD was doing either. We're saying, this is Chef Boyardee, and this is just horrible. I mean, some people like it. I'll take my tagliatelle bolognese over that. But even me saying that, I don't know, maybe coming from a place where I am judging too much of somebody else's interest without being able to give the space for their own complexity and to note that they may be holding exactly what I'm talking about in a different part of their cinematic viewing that I just don't know enough to get into. But I don't know. I have talked myself right into a circle, the same kind of circle I am criticizing FD Signifier for making. But maybe it's because both sides of this conversation are absent more of the perspective of people who watch and appreciate this. So we're all just
Mm.
extrapolating on how can you watch this?
Well, and I think I don't want to. Okay, so I'm with you in the sense that like I don't want to alienate these folks that I'm curious about because I'm curious in the same way.
Mm.
But I just don't think that Tyler and perhaps some of the folks that are enjoying these movies are curious in that same way. Because I think the fact that like these movies pretty much are all written, directed, produced by him with this one sort of singular worldview that has not really changed all that much over the past 20 years. We're still, talking about like, temptation. Like, ooh, she had sex outside of her marriage and now everyone has AIDS. Like that is so like 1993. Not even 1993 because there were public service ads about condoms in 1993. This is like 1984 Reagan era, like, just regressive, like crazy bullshit, right? Um, and it just speaks to me so there's been no curiosity at all to sort of learn about other people, their experiences, like, the complexity of like it purports to show the sort of the complexity of Black life, but then like blunts all of it in this way. Like when they were talking about I forget what movie it was, but like um the where the gay son comes home for the graduation
Oh yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
all of a sudden like the gay character disappears and turns out that the person we thought was his partner was dating his mom, and it was blah, 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 and just all the stereotypes and the, you know, the bad, lazy, hacky writing. Like, you know, there's a scene where he was talking about working with David Fincher in Gone Girl, and saying that David Fincher, like, you know, wanted to create, you know, scenes where it's like, you know, the way the light, you know, shines on this leaf and da 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 da. And at first his initial reaction was like, this is so stupid. Like, let's just get the shot done and like move on. And then was like, oh
Oof.
wait, he's actually like thinking about this as art. Huh. That's oh. And it's just that lack of curiosity for me that I think really sort of informs some of the, and I think we are being a little bit more curious about the art than he is. And I think there's always going to be that disconnect.
I can receive
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
100%.
For Color Girls is
100%.
a perfect example, and I was really glad the
God.
FD Signifier went back and added a
Mm-hmm.
section
Yeah.
about
Mm-hmm.
that, because that was when I was firmly got off the Tyler Perry train. Because even with that, I'm just like, you have the beautifully written, complex material right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. And somehow you found a way to make it as simplistic and traumatizing as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild because literally, For Color Girls was introduced to me through my mother. She is the one who told me that it was important to read as a someone who was being raised as a Black girl, Black woman in America, as like a piece that beautifully reflects our experiences in so many different ways, as something that would be important to me as I was like coming into adulthood. And it really was like, For Color Girls got me through my first breakup, my first little heartbreak. I was sad and reading For Color Girls and listening to whatever music at the time, but somehow he read that and still just like projected such a simplistic, unsympathetic even kind of
And
view of what
conservative.
happens, and conservative of what happens
Mm-hmm.
in that choreo poem. And that's the other thing, to the point where he couldn't even add any like artistic flair to any of it. Like, it's almost like he read it in the most desensitized way possible. I will never get over the scene with them children out the window, and
Oh
how
God. Yeah.
how could he have chosen to depict it in that way? Only by being somebody who is quite unsympathetic to or quite numbed, rather, is what I should say. Maybe not just unsympathetic because he went through it himself, but like quite numbed to the abuse of Black women and children, to just display it just so outright like that, when the choreo poem itself doesn't even suggest that you should literally depict the children being thrown out the window. Like, that's, I don't know how he got there, except by being someone who is not going to look into the complexity of these characters, to see them, even see them as human, and think like, a human who I know, if, and who I, feel some type of way towards, would I just straight up show the abuse that literally on screen? Probably not, if I'm treating this character as a person with feelings and with, like, it's
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
not,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't go through any of that. And that's, I think, to me, that's just reflective of my larger problem with him. And again, the just like telling the version of it that reaffirms whatever narrative he has going on. it was really disturbing, and also just taking that opportunity from a Black woman who was set to
Yeah.
direct
Which
it. I didn't even know that part
I
before
didn't know that
watching
either.
watching this documentary, and it just made me pissed about it
Oh,
all
I
over
remember
again
when
and
that
on a
was
new
happening.
level. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that I mean, in addition to all of that, just the lack of imagination about how you turn
That's it.
something
That's it.
like, you know, in Suzaka's work into a film. Like, you, of all the directions you could have gone, like something that literal
Yeah.
has always been like,
Yeah, it's just I mean, that's it. It's just the lack of imagination and the lack of curiosity for
yeah.
me that like makes it just sad. Going back to what I was saying before, because like I mean, if I think there is a world where if he were really sort of treating this all as art rather than a way for him to make money and like maintain sort of power and control over himself and everyone sort of in his life, that there could be some movement forward, there could be some message, there could be something that's not causing active harm. And the fact just is that there's not, and it just it I think that is what sort of brings the sadness to me, just sort of like the potential that's there. But I mean, clearly there are lots and lots of people who see the potential. Um, and who am I to talk? We just, sat here for 45 minutes and talked about Tammy Roman, Peter's unfaithful, whatever it's called. And I get my whole life from that show. So like, who am I to judge and talk? We all like our own sort of, you know, quote unquote sort of particular flavor of lowbrow content or whatever.
Mhm.
And and maybe that's what certain folks respond to, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. I could not have said it better.
Yes. Well, I don't know if this warrants a part two someday, perhaps, but I thought this was a very interesting conversation, and um, I think I'm ready for some pure black joy. How do y'all feel?
Yeah, let's do it.
Indeed.
I actually feel like there is some this week.
Yes,
Isn't that exciting?
there really is.
Okay.
There really is.
Yes.
We've been depressed for the last couple of months, but I think there are some reasons to celebrate. So we'll be right back with Pure Black Joy. All right, and we are back with Pure Black Joy. This is the segment at the end of the show where we talk about the Black people, places, things, music, food, art, culture that's making us happy this week. And I just want to quickly just shout out, because we have not had a show since the Oscar ceremony. And I just want to shout out Ryan Coogler, Michael B.
Yay.
Jordan.
Yay.
What was the name of the cinematographer? Autumn Durald Arkapaw. And everyone who is involved in Sinners for, all of the accolades. Beautiful movie. Should have won Best Picture. I mean, I didn't see one
Ding,
battle
ding,
after
ding.
another, but I'm gonna trust that it should have won. But for all of the things, it was just so lovely and inspiring to see, especially Ryan with his Oscar in his hand. Well deserved after a long, long time. Now that, Tyler, go have a meeting with Ryan. And then I also did y'all see that Drewski video?
Of
Yes,
course.
Shout out to whoever gave that man a bigger budget.
Yes.
the one little part when he's driving and listening to Katy Perry, and he's like, ah. uh, so yeah, you did that, Drewski.
Down to the details, the
Well done.
the
The
nails, the nails she
nails.
Nails, the nails.
Yeah.
Whew, so that's my pure black joy.
Mhm. Black people know how to process something with comedy.
They do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Love that. Well, my pure black joy, um, some of you may know from previous episodes, I really, really love rap that is made by the girls, by the gays, by the
Mhm.
dolls.
Yes.
That is my favorite. And I really feel like people I know like kind of love like that kind of rap as its own thing. Like not even fans of rap as a whole, but it's like a specificity of I love rap that is by women and queer folks and trans folks specifically. And so something that brought me joy, well, Cardi B is on tour right now. Whether she's black, debatable. I'm not even gonna get into that. But not even gonna get into that. But what I appreciate is the way she is doing this tour and like really honoring like again this I think own genre of rap that she is a part of. So she went to New York and brought out Lil Kim.
Hmm.
Huge. I love that. I love seeing that, especially because it's Cardi. She's in a big old arena. She probably in the biggest venue you could get. So to bring out Lil Kim and like give her proper due in her city is beautiful. But then she also did the same thing when she went to Detroit and she brought out the Detroit legend, Cash Doll.
Hmm.
Like then she went to Chicago. I forgot the name of a rapper that she brought out there, but somebody who's younger and is like does like Chicago drill rap, and is young and gay also. Shout out to all the queer rappers. Like I just love that. I really love that. Again, because it's its own. Hmm. It's got a different vibe. It's got a different vibe. Again, there's a reason why so many people like who love rap made by femmes, rap by gay folks, like often don't necessarily, especially what's coming out currently from the men folk, we're not exactly feeling it. It's given it's not given the same kind of energy or creativity. So I don't know, to just see it kind of continue to blow up and then see the girls support each other really warms my heart. I love it. I love it. I love it. So that has been my pure black joy forever and always. Love the rap girls. Love
Hmm.
them. I really do.
Hmm. Love
Yeah.
that.
The
Yeah,
cash
me
doll.
too.
Cash doll. Shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. Yeah.
Dr. Bynum, did you think of one?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
The last 2 weeks have been what they are.
Yep.
Very well.
Yep.
Well, I think we'll just end it there on that note. You all, please, please, please support us however you can. If you enjoyed the show, leave us 5 stars. Cinq, please. Por favor. S'il vous plaît. And leave a review with some words. That would be really nice. Subscribe wherever you're listening, especially if you are listening to us on YouTube, and just tell your friends if this is something you think that they would be down with. We are always looking for new members of our community, new scorekeepers. But I think that's it. Did I miss anything? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Any words of wisdom before we go?
Protect your neck.
Protect your neck. Cis men, step it up.
Absolutely.
I think that's it. I think that.
Yeah.
I think
Nice
we
and
covered
evergreen.
it. I think we covered it. All right, everybody. We will see you back here in 2 weeks. Until then, be easy. Bye, America.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.